Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be reading from the book Kabbalah Secrets Christians Need to Know, an in-depth study of the kosher pig and the gods of Jewish mysticism by Deanne Loper. I'll begin in chapter 9. Secrets of the Millennium, the two messiahs of the final redemption. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord, which is and which was and which is to come, the Almighty. Revelation chapter 1, verse 8. And at the end of the formless and the void and the darkness, that is, at the end of the exile, this saying shall have place. Isaiah 11. And the Tetragrammaton alone shall be exalted in that day, that is, in the time of Messiah. Zohar, the book of concealed mystery. This final redemption will come only as a result of Torah study, chiefly the study of Kabbalah. Rabbi Eliyahu of Vilna, from his commentary on the Zohar. According to the prophecy of the Zohar, or in the Zohar, the purpose of releasing the mysteries of Kabbalah globally is to prepare the world for the seventh millennium and the coming of Moshiach. As noted above, this period is called the Footsteps of Messiah, Ikveta de Mashiach, and is based on the Shiur Komha, the God-man image of Adam Kadmon in the Sephiroth tree. The rabbis refer to this as the Netzach Hod paradigm, as Netzach and Hod are the seventh and eighth Sephirah and represent the legs of the image. The Netzach Hod paradigm marks the time just before the final redemption. The ninth Sephirah, Yesod, is representative of the male phallus, which channels the life force of Ein Sof to Malchut, the feet. The Shekinah bride and kingdom of the God-man image. Netzach and Hod are the right and left legs, respectively. Yesod is the generative system or the foundation of form, and Malchut represents the 2 feet or the base of being. Yesod is the channel through which Tiferet strives to unite with Shekinah and pass on the creative and benevolent divine forces. This Sephirah is symbolized as the male phallus, sanctified through the covenant of circumcision. According to the Zohar, the mystery of 6,000 years is based on an esoteric interpretation of the first words of Genesis, chapter 1, and the 6 days of creation. In Kabbalah, the 6 days of creation correspond to the 6 Sephirah that form the 6-pointed star of Microprosopis, or Metatron's cube. The Shiur Chomah, God-man image, each of the 6 Sephirah represents 1,000 years, and combined they form the 6 directions of the universe. The 7th millennium is the age to come, the final Shabbat, the Antichrist kingdom of God on earth. The 7th millennium also represents Malchut, the 10th Sephirah, who is also Shekinah. As noted previously, it was Shekinah who fell into the abyss at the shattering of the Sephiroth tree, yet is destined to rise from the pit. 6,000 years depend from the six first. This is what the wise have said, that the world shall last 6,000 years, and it is understood from the 6 numbers of Microprosopis, hence are the 6,000 years, deduced from the 6 first words, which also are said to refer to the 6 Sephiroth, of whom Microprosopis is formed. Thousands signify the future, the idea of 6 being extended into as many thousands to symbolize that number on the plane of a future age. So also, the Shekinah, or kingdom, is itself exiled by the same rule. The millennium is deduced from the 7th word, the 7th space, here means Malchut, the kingdom, or the queen, which together with the 6 of Microprosopis makes up the 7 lower Sephiroth. The word Bereshith is the Hebrew word for beginning in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Bereshith is said by the sages to contain the greatest mystery of creation from beginning to end, and as noted above, is translated by the Kabbalists as He created 6. The following excerpt from the Zohar describes the initiation of Rabbi Chaya into the secret of the 6 encoded in the word Bereshith. Note that Metatron, the angel of the presence, and the directions of the 6-sided cube are mentioned. Bereshith, in the beginning, said Rabbi Ionda. What is the signification of this mystical word? It is chokmah, wisdom. Like a globe, it includes the 6 directions of space, viz. North, south, east, and west, high and low, from which emanate 6 streams of existence, all of which flow at last into the great ocean of primal life. Another occult signification of Bereshit is this: bara, seeth. He created 6. Rabbi Haya and Rabbi Jose were walking together in the country, and when they reached their destination, said Rabbi Haya, "This occult meaning of Bereshit is undoubtedly correct, since we find in the book of Genesis that the creation of all things occurred and took place in 6 days and not more. In an ancient occult work on Genesis, we have found many references to this account." Rabbi Haya heard a voice from heaven exclaiming, "Fall back! Make room for the king, Messiah coming to the school of Rabbi Simeon, whose students are all initiates and master teachers of the secret doctrine." Then came Messiah and visited all the celestial schools and confirmed the teachings and expositions of the mysteries given by their appointed instructors. Turning to Rabbi Simeon, Messiah spake and said, "Blessed art thou, Rabbi Simeon, for thy mystic teachings are of the highest worth and valued and cherished by all. They only, along with those of Hezekiah, king of Judah, and Achiah, the Solonite, are marked and sealed with the approval of the Holy One. I have come hither because I know that the angel of the presence visits no other school save yours." Another bizarre twist of scripture by the rabbis relates the events of the flood in Noah's day to the rise of technology in our current 6th millennium. In this strange scenario, Genesis chapter 7:11 is taken completely out of context to represent future events which corresponded to the global release of Kabbalistic knowledge that will precede the coming of Mashiach. We know that the opening of the windows of heaven in Noah's day brought the total destruction of the world. One can only imagine what ominous plot is lurking behind the self-fulfilling prophecies of the Zohar. What does the future hold? There is a Talmudic statement that the world will exist for 6,000 years and then enter a new state. The Kabbalah explains that each millennium is a divine day, and as we approach the 7th millennium, we are actually approaching the divine Sabbath. As the world nears the era of Mashiach, knowledge in all areas of life is rapidly expanding. This concept is found in the Zohar, which comments of the verse. In the 600th year of Noah's life, the windows of heaven were open. Genesis chapter 7, verse 11. According to the Zohar, the 600th year is also the 6th millennium, and the windows of heaven are opening to allow knowledge and discovery to flow into our world at an unprecedented rate. To illustrate the year 5600, the 600th year of the 6th millennium, corresponds to the year 1840 in the Common Era. A cursory inspection of that period reveals that it was in the late 1800s that the Industrial Revolution began. According to the Zohar, the illumination of the nations and the revelation of Mashiach in Israel will not be an instantaneous event, but will unfold as a gradual process based on the mystical timeline of the rabbis. This process began in the year 1840. In the current Netzach Hod paradigm, the left and right pillars of the Sephiroth tree also represent the 2 messiahs of Kabbalah, the train Meshiachim. These 2 messiahs are Mashiach ben Joseph and Mashiach ben David. Until recently, the mystery of 2 messiahs has remained largely unknown outside of Kabbalistic circles, but is now being revealed in small increments to accelerate the final redemption. The 2 Meshiachim are the guards and defenders of the existence of Israel throughout all the generations, even during the exile. Their main place is at the gates of Jerusalem, the opening of the walls. This is revealed by the words, "Our feet were standing in the gates of Jerusalem." Our feet refers to the 2 Meshiachim in the line of Netzach and Hod. Typical of Rabbinic Judaism, there are dark sexual overtones hidden deep within this mystery, which revolve around the sphere of Yesod and its phallic imagery. Another reason the secret has been long concealed from the masses. However, what is important is the end-time agenda of this millennial script. In the tradition of Kabbalah, there was a split in the last 2 sephira, Yesod, and Malchut. At the time of the shattering of the Sephiroth tree, this cosmic split brought about the necessity of two messiahs and the two stages of Tikkun, the repair of the world. Messiah bin David is traditionally viewed as the messianic ruler of the 7th millennium, but it is Messiah bin Joseph that has been the guiding force of Israel throughout history. Messiah bin Joseph is viewed as the predecessor of Messiah bin David. In his present-day role, he is the revealer and disseminator of Kabbalah during the Ikveta Dimashika, or footsteps of Messiah, as noted by Rabbi Hillel Rivlin. According to our master, the Gaon, all activities and all efforts in all their particulars, down to the most minute details that are directed to the ingathering of the exiles, the building of Jerusalem, the expansion and resettlement of the land of Israel, and the return of the Shekinah, divine presence, are dependent upon the mission and destiny of the Messiah of the beginning, the first Messiah, Mashiach ben Yosef. He is the supernatural force that aids every activity which is aroused from below. During the period of Ikveta Demashika, the revelations will begin little by little. It is specifically through the learning of the Kabbalah that the mysteries of the Torah will be revealed. This is part of the sacred mission of the Messiah of the beginning, Mashiach ben Yosef. Digging deeper into the secret doctrine of the sages, one is not surprised to discover the fallen angel Metatron at the root of this mystery. Within the rabbinic writings, we find the Metatron is the oversoul of Messiah ben Yosef. He is the supernatural force that will unify and bring balance to the left and right pillars of the Sephiroth tree, the twin messiahs. Moreover, Metatron is Messiah ben Joseph, who will defeat the enemies of Israel and raise Shekinah from the abyss, recalling Metatron's association with the number 6 and Yesod as the channel for knowledge. I quote the following based on the Kabbalah school of Rabbi Eliyahu from the book Chol HaTor. Mashiach ben Yosef is the Meta-Archangel known throughout the Talmud, including the standard commentaries of Rashi and Tosafot, Midrash, and Zohar as Metatron. Yosef is still alive. The Mashiach ben Yosef from above is Metatron. The minister of interior, as is known, Yosef is Metatron. Both of them are from the light from above, and both are in the Sephira Yesod. There will be a unification of the Holy One, blessed be He, and the Shekinah through the unification of the two Meshakim. The purpose of gathering in the exiles is to wage God's war against Amalek, which was the main mission of Joshua in line with Mashiach ben Yosef. It is also intended to remove the spirit of impurity from the land and to bring Knesset, Israel, and Shekinah from below, from the earth. A person must elevate himself spiritually and by performing good deeds with the assistance of the might and secret of Metatron, minister of interior, to the level of the upper lights, the level the sounds of the shofar reach. 999 in Gematria is the angel of Mashiach ben Yosef. His name equals 999 in the Sephira Yesod. Metatron, minister of interior, the one who brings the sound of the shofar to heaven. The abundance of lights, which is the 999, sperm of the Sephira Yesod, the unity of the Holy One, blessed be He, with the Shekinah, engaging in the war against Esau and Ishmael. Then the land will be appeased. In this section of Kol HaTor, we see many disturbing elements of rabbinic eschatology. As Messiah ben Joseph, it is Metatron who is the mediator between man and God. As minister of interior, it is Metatron who brings prayers before the throne and the sound of the shofar. I have already referenced this as one of Itzhak Shapira's teachings from his book, The Return of the Kosher Pig. But I mention it here again to show that these esoteric traditions remain the bedrock of Talmudic and Kabbalistic millennialism. Shapira can be seen teaching this heretical doctrine in a video presentation titled, Are You Born Again?, where he states that it is through Yeshua Metatron that our prayers are heard. Next, we see that Messiah ben Joseph's gematria is 999. In Kol HaTor, this is called Formula 999, and represents the unity of the Holy One with Shekinah through 3 combinations of letters. The number 999 also relates to the beginning of creation as well as the exact year when Moshiach will arrive on the earth. Through the manipulation of numbers using gematria, the Kabbalists have determined the new world order to begin in 2019. This is based on the computation that 2 times 999 and 3 times 666 both equal 1998. Then, by further reading and subtracting the value of other Hebrew letters to 1998, they arrive at the year 2019, the sum and predicted date of Mashiach's arrival. Both contemporary, and ancient rabbinic writings such as Kol HaTorah repeatedly cast Messiah ben Joseph as engaging in a war against Esau and Ishmael, in order to appease or cleanse the land. Now it is no secret who Ishmael is, but who is Esau. The sages tell us plainly Esau is Edom, and Edom is Rome, specifically Christianity. Edom is Esau, Esau/Edom's descendants since biblical times have been identified with Europe, specifically the Empire of Rome, according to the Torah, understanding ancient Rome never actually fell, thus leaving the public scene. It was only replaced by the church. As we know, the head of the church always has been in the city of Rome. Therefore, Edom is Rome. Rome is Christianity, and thus Edom is all those domains to which the Christianity of Rome has spread. Together, Esau and Ishmael are the external forces, the shells of impurity, that must be deceived along with the mixed multitude during the redemption process as quoted previously. The redemption process must proceed in a circuitous manner in order to deceive the shells of impurity, the external forces, and prevent them from interfering. The purpose of our work in gathering the exiles is to set up people of truth who will promote the unification of both Meshachim in the gates of Jerusalem, so that the Shekinah will return in all generations. The major tasks of the two Meshachim together, Mashiach ben Yosef and Mashiach ben David, are self-defense and to wage war against the three heads of the outer shells or layers, Esau, Ishmael, and the mixed multitude. The special task of Mashiach ben Yosef is to counter Esau, the outer shell on the left. The special task of Mashiach ben David against Ishmael is to counter Ishmael, the outer shell on the right. The two Meshachim together are duty-bound to operate against Esau and Ishmael, who are likened to an ox and a donkey of impurity. We must destroy the might of the mixed multitude, the layer of the wicked Armilus, and drive them out of Israel. The mixed multitude is our great enemy, for it separates the two Meshachim. The two Meshachim are a scepter and a lawgiver. They are the holy ox and holy donkey, who wage war against the impure ox and impure donkey, i.e., Ishmael and Esau. They are the feet of God that are in Netzach and Hod. They stand firmly in the gates of Jerusalem. The redemption of truth can occur only after destroying the klippah, shell/layer of Esau that appears in the form of Armilus, the epitome of the truth hater. Buried deep in the writings of the Mishnah sages, there is yet another mystery concerning Edom or Esau. This is the secret of the head of Esau, or the beheading of Esau, and refers to the Jewish fable that Esau's death was by decapitation. This tradition is based on a rabbinic commentary of Genesis chapter 50, verse 13, which states, in the cave of Machpelah in Hebron, the burial place of the patriarchs, Esau's head lies in the bosom of Isaac. Targum, Yonatan, Genesis chapter 50, verse 13. The Targum Yonatan gives no explanation for the addition of this story in relation to the actual events recorded in Genesis 50. However, in the coded language of the rabbis, we see that it is closely connected to the ongoing war against Esau/Edom in the final redemption process. If one wishes to understand the future, then one must understand the past. For the future is just its reflection. The great pre-Messianic tikkun does not occur exclusively in the invisible spiritual dimensions. It has its parallel fulfillments here in our physical world. Our sages relate a legend about the death of Esau, who is Edom. The legend states that when Jacob was taken to be buried in Machpelah, that Esau and his clan came to block his interment. This led to a war between the sons of Esau and the sons of Jacob. In this war, Esau himself was killed and decapitated. In the end times, the great battle between Jacob and Esau is to come to its final fruition. Biblical prophecies speak of the resounding defeat of Edom and everything related to it. This does not mean that everyone literally dies, but rather that everyone finally is able to see and receive the light of truth, and thus a new dawn for humanity arises. In his book, The Messianic Idea in Judaism, Gershom Scholem relates the course of apocalyptic events as foretold in the Zohar. Following the legends of the Agadah in the Babylonian Talmud, Scholem describes the redemption as a process of gradual illumination of the world by the light of Messiah that culminates in a mystic utopia. At the time when the Holy One, blessed be He, shall set Israel upright and bring them up out of Galut, He will open to them a small and scant window of light. And then He will open another that is larger until He will open to them the portals on high to the four directions of the universe. So shall it be, and not at a single instant. According to the Zohar, this same light will be a destructive force to the nations as Israel is propelled to world domination. Scholem continues. The Gentiles, who are designated Esau or Edom, however, will suffer the opposite fate. They receive their light in this world at a single stroke, but it will depart from them gradually until Israel shall grow strong and destroy them. And when the spirit of uncleanness shall pass from the world, and the divine light shall shine upon Israel without let or hindrance, all things will return to their proper order, to the state of perfection. The worlds will all be joined one to another, and nothing will separate creator from creature. All will rise upward by a sense of the Spirit, and creatures will be purified until they behold the Shekinah eye to eye. The expectation of a golden age of peace and prosperity on earth can be found in nearly every religious system, including some denominations of Christian eschatology. This idealistic dream of an earthly utopian millennium, widely promoted by New Age leaders, has long been the focus of investigation by the Church to unlock the identity of Mystery Babylon in Revelation chapters 17 and 18. However, its roots can be traced back to ancient Babylon, from where it was adopted by the blind leaders of Israel during their captivity and later codified in the writings of the Babylonian Talmud and Kabbalah. Nearly 10 years ago, when the Holy Spirit began to reveal to me out of the Scriptures the mysteries of the great city Jerusalem, I made efforts to share this information with pastors. In every instance I received the same answer. They could not or would not acknowledge the biblical evidence pointing to Jerusalem as Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots. This overwhelming response is based in tightly held traditions of men and is often rooted in fear. Another frequently repeated answer I heard from church leaders was that the city in Revelation chapter 17 verse 18, chapter 18, is described as reigning over the kings of the earth and governing the wealth of commerce between the nations. Therefore, the harlot of Revelation could not possibly be tiny Jerusalem. Only New York or some other metropolis could fit the description. Just 10 years ago, Israel was not considered a global power in the eyes of many. Today, this is no longer the case. According to the rabbinic timeline, the new age is upon us. Jerusalem is rising, and the entire world is witnessing Israel's technological quantum leap to become the head of the kingdoms of this world. All right, guys, that's the end of chapter 9. Thank you for joining me.